I've been using the Pixel 8 for about 2 months now, and I have come to this conclusion. It's my favorite compact phone that I've ever used, and it's almost the perfect phone, honestly. I mean, at a starting price of $699 USD or $949 CAD, it's mind-blowing how much value you're getting out of this flagship phone, especially when you can find it on sale for as low as $549 USD or $750 CAD, which is a no-brainer at that point. Now, this phone is actually a little more expensive than the Pixel 6 or 7 when it came out, but I think there are just enough improvements to justify the price increase and make this not only the best compact phone to get, but the best Android phone to get. Let's first talk about the biggest change in my opinion that makes this phone so much better to use: the smaller form factor. You see, with the Pixel 6 and 7, it was still considered a smaller flagship at 6.4 and 6.3 inches respectively, but Google listened to the loyal fans who loved the form factor of the Pixel 5 and gave the Pixel 8 a 6.2 inch screen instead. Funny enough, I just realized they decreased the phones by 0.1 inches every year, but it makes a bigger difference than you think. Being 10 grams lighter and less wide means that one-hand usability is much improved, as you can actually reach all corners of the screen pretty easily, your pinky won't be tired after scrolling your phone for a while, and you can actually use it in bed without making your arms tired, although you shouldn't have this beside your bed and you should be reading instead. But anyways, speaking about the actual design, I love how the corners are more rounded this year, making the phone look less blocky and much cuter. Also, shout out to the Google case for being amazing, because it feels so good in its hand with its rubbery finish, and also look amazing with the slopes connecting the camera bump. Speaking of the camera bump, it's an iconic part of what makes a Pixel now, and with the largest camera this year, they make them stand out more in my opinion, which looks great. Another standout feature that seriously fixes one of the biggest flaws about the previous phones is the increased brightness to a whopping 2000 nits, which matches all the top flagship phones like the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now you see, the Pixel 6 only got up to 800 nits, which was not that great, and the Pixel 7 went up to 1000 nits, which was decent, but with double the brightness, you won't ever struggle with visibility outdoors. Also, the new actual display technology, the screen just looks stunning with rich, vibrant colors that look good at every angle, and as a bonus, the screen refresh rate has increased to 120 Hz this year from the 90 Hz. This means that the phone feels even smoother to use, and Apple really has no excuse not to include 120 Hz on their base model iPhones anymore, because 60 Hz is so old school. The Pixel 8 can actually go down to 60 Hz as well, and although it's not an LTPO panel, it should bring some nice battery efficiency improvements. Another thing that Google worked on improving are the speakers, which everyone has been raving about, and while yes, they have improved over the Pixel 7 in a lot of ways, I personally feel like it's actually gotten worse in other ways, which I'm not the biggest fan of. So first up, it's improved over the Pixel 7 in the sense that it sounds a lot more full and warmer with a better bass response and bigger soundstage. To the untrained ear, these will make you think that they've improved a lot. The problem is, the speakers get distorted at max volume, and I just feel like the sound frequency is unbalanced. Like, yes, the bass and warmer tones are welcome, but now voices just sound muffled and drowned out. The main speaker is also significantly louder than the earpiece, which sounds quite unbalanced to me, and together with the muffled sound signature, I thought my speakers were actually defective until I checked my Pixel 8 Pro, which sounded exactly the same, and then I went to Reddit to confirm my findings. Really odd, but I won't say it's an absolute deal breaker and hasn't been enough to put me off the phone. Anyways, moving on to some happier news, the biometrics. Ever since the horrible reputation Pixel fingerprint scanners had on the 6, Google has quickly taken feedback and improved the sensors to the point where I think they're actually super reliable to use now, even for a guy with dry fingers in the cold Canadian weather. And even with the screen protector on, it works beautifully, and I actually find that I don't need to use the increased touch sensitivity mode in the settings like I had to with the Pixel 6 and 7. New this year is also the Face Unlock, as Google has improved security on it, so you can now use it as biometric security in your secured apps like banking apps, which is a very useful and underrated addition to this phone. Props to Google for listening to the community. You know what else would be great too? If you could join my tech community by smashing that subscribe button. There are a ton of exciting videos that are coming out soon that you shouldn't miss out, and it would really help me out greatly. And finally, how does the phone actually perform and feel like of day-to-day usage? You can check out my day in a life vlog with the Pixel 8 up here, but in short, it's absolutely fantastic, lightning fast, and a joy to use, and that's how I would describe it. I confidently believe that Pixel UI on Android 14 is the best software on Android without a doubt, and it's been slowly refined since the Pixel 6. Gone are the days where the phone was a buggy mess and nothing seemed to work reliably, and instead, we now have software that's mature to the point where it can deliver on all its promises about being smart and fast and stable, which is the most important. The best part, Google is promising 7 years, and yes, you heard that right, 7 years of support, which is unheard of, and just extends the life of this phone a lot. But who knows if it'll actually last that long. But what I do know right now is that although the Tensor G3 chip isn't the fastest on the market, there's honestly not a moment where I wish I had more performance because all my apps open up very fast, the beautiful animations across the UI are extremely fluid, and all my apps stay open in the background, so I don't have to constantly reload them when switching between them. One concern a lot of people have though is overheating, and I'm actually happy to report that I've not experienced that a single time. Like, it does get warm to the touch if you use the phone a lot, just like other phones, but it's nothing out of the ordinary. Gaming does warm up the phone pretty quickly though, but I haven't noticed any lagging after extended gameplay, and the performance is quite good too, so it's a non-issue for me. As for softer features, there's so many to cover that I decided I'm gonna do a full video dedicated to just on that, so stay tuned for that. But just to give you guys a gist, here are some of the stuff I really like about it that also applies to both the Pixel 8 and the 8 Pro. It's really simple to use, and I love the material U theme that forms around the color palette of the wallpaper, since it just makes the phone feel more fun and personalized. The animations, as I said, are absolutely beautiful, and the attention to detail just feels so polished. Not to mention, the always-on display looks the best out of any phone. There's even a feature where the phone automatically identifies any song that's playing in the background, like your own personal Shazam. The haptics also feel amazing when you're typing and texting on the keyboard, and I love the use of it throughout the UI, when you scroll between the recent apps, when you swipe down on a notification shade, and expand on the notifications themselves. And as for some smart AI features, there's call screening to block out and filter these annoying spam calls, and my favorite feature that I always love to use, voice dictation. With this special voice dictation feature, Google's able to make transcriptions incredibly fast and accurate and all offline. It can even fix grammar mistakes, do auto-punctuation, and even send by voice. Features aside, they're useless if this phone can't last you through the day, and luckily, this phone can do just that. The Pixel 8 gets roughly a 200 mAh battery capacity bump from the Pixel 7, and although I wouldn't say the battery life on this phone is amazing after using it for over 2 months, I would say it's good enough to get you through the day with 4 to 5 hours of screen on time on average when I really use it outdoors. I do have a 5G SIM card on this phone, which is why the screen on time isn't that impressive, but if you mainly use it indoors on Wi-Fi or have a 4G SIM card, I'm sure you can significantly improve your battery life. And last but not least, the cameras, which are the pinnacle of Google devices and what they're known for. It's obviously gonna get better from generation to generation, and this year, there was a minor refresh with a new 50 megapixel sensor capable of allowing in 21% more light. What this translates to is photos looking pretty much identical to previous Pixels, which is extremely consistent with pictures looking beautiful and punchy, with everything being evenly exposed so you won't have any crushed shadows or blown out highlights. And with the bigger sensor for low light photos, the change I noticed was the speed it needed for exposures at night, with it consistently being a second or two faster. As always though, it's funny how the image looks terribly grainy and ugly in the viewfinder, only for it to look magical once you open it up and it all processes. And one last thing, a lot of you guys ask about shutter speed, so on this phone there's actually no shutter lag or speed at all. And if you actually look at the photos, it does take a little bit of processing time, but I found that it actually is like, I don't know, maybe it's placebo, but it's actually quicker on the new Pixel 8, which is great. Pixel phones just produced one of my favorite looks stylistically, and with the easy to reach settings on the bottom, you can even adjust the brightness, shadows, and white balance yourself to get yourself the perfect photo. Unfortunately, there are no changes with the ultra-wide or selfie cameras, with the exception of the macro mode now, which, be for reals, when was the last time you guys actually used that? There are 2 new editing tricks up its sleeve though, and it's kinda cool. So first, Best Take aims to replace the faces of those who don't have the best pose in that particular photo by checking other similar photos taken at the same time. It only works if you take multiple backup photos though, but it works quite well in a pinch. Magic Editor, on the other hand, is mind-blowing in the way that you can erase anything you want in the picture, resize, and even move objects around too. It's super fun to play around with, and best of all, they actually work with all your old photos regardless if you took them on the Pixel or not. The only 2 features that were promised by Google and hasn't rolled out yet was the Video Boost, which is supposed to send your video to the supercomputers in Google to process amazing footage, and Google Assistant with Bard, which seems like it would be super useful. Other than that, while this phone isn't perfect, aspect with the speakers and batteries that I would like improved, it's seriously a fun phone to use with its compact form factor. And especially at such an unbeatable price point, it's honestly like my new default recommendation for the Android phone to get. Alright, I've been talking for way too long. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you guys have any questions about this, make sure to leave them down below in the comments. And also, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash the like and subscribe button for more awesome content that I should definitely check out on my channel. Have a great one, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one!